So we're going to talk about phase 2, which is the certification. So as soon as you get through orientation and onboarding, I mean, you can move on to phase 2. That could be this week. You can do it in your second week, all up to you. What we're going to cover is the training you need to go through, the role plays and how to execute them, and the coaching calls you need to attend. Now, I'm going to break this into, if you see in the next several videos, basically 8 steps, 9 steps, 10 steps to essentially really achieving everything you want to achieve through remote closing, okay? So made it super step-by-step, super straightforward, super simple, just so there's no ambiguity in terms of the clarity in your pathway, right? So step 1 is what we already covered. That was the last video. That is the onboarding, right? So to do the onboarding, it's very simple. You've been in the last video, you're in the Facebook group, you have access to all the materials you need to have access to. You have your one-on-one call and your onboarding call, your one-on-one onboarding call. You've either had that or it's already scheduled, okay? And you've attended at least, but you've booked in at least 2 to 3 group coaching calls per week that you're going to attend. If you could do more, do as many as you can. You're just gonna learn faster, okay? So now we're gonna move on to step 2, which is the training requirements for the certification. The only thing you need to go through initially is this week of training, okay? Let me repeat that. The only training you're gonna need to go through to get the certification is the week of training you're going through right now, which is the intro and onboarding week, obviously. And then number 2, the crash course training, okay? So we talked about what that crash course training is. It's right here. Sales 101 crash course, the crash course training, okay? Your primary focus should be on mastering the triage call, okay? So if we go into the crash course here, I talk about the setter crash course and call breakdown setter. You want to go through everything, but really master the triage call. I would practice the entire call as well, but the reason why the triage call is very, very key to master is because during the interview process where you're going to be landing a position with a lot of these companies, most of the time what they'll do is they will do a mock triage call, which that means like it's a situation where, let's say somebody calls in from a website and you have to answer the call and they're interested and they want to know about the service and you have to set them for an appointment, okay? Well, don't worry about like the ins and outs of it right now. It's very, very simple actually, but it's a quick 10 to 15 minute call. You're gonna do a little bit of discovery, need finding, understanding what the problem is, the reason why it's a problem, what their proposed solution is, etc. And so essentially, you want to master that first, number 1, because it's the main way you're going to be interviewed for these types of roles. And then number 2, it's a very, very short call and it allows us to get a lot of reps in the most important part of the call, which is the discovery, okay? So that's why we make the focus there. It doesn't mean you shouldn't focus on the pitch and the close and objections and all that stuff, but this is going to take you the furthest and then we can build upon it from there. And then once we've completed that, we're going to move on to step 3, okay? Now, again, all of the training throughout this program, especially the crash course, go through multiple times. So like when you're working out in the morning or at night or whenever you work out, go through the training again and again and again and again and again, okay? Like listen to it like you listen to the radio or your favorite song. When you're driving, when you're cooking, when you're eating, when you're walking, when you're working out, listen to it. The more, the better. You should be like, I'm so sick of Cole's voice. I've heard his voice so many times. So again, step 2 is the training, crash course, week of training. Step 3 is the role play requirements. So essentially your CSM is going to put you in a pod of 4 people. You do not have to role play with all 4, but the reason I put you with 4 is just so you have options and you're not only limited by one person's schedule. Like maybe you're trying to knock this out in a week. Well, I don't want you in a position where you're like, man, like so-and-so only has so many slots open. So you're going to be in a pod of 4. You're going to role play the triage call 30 times, okay? I would do it with multiple people so you kind of get multiple different looks. And to be honest, guys, like we're pairing you up with people who are obviously going through the training as well. But like when I did this, like this is not something I just made up. When I was training to get my first position, this is exactly the process I did so I could show up really prepared for my mock triage call that I had with the company I was selling for. And I wasn't in a program like this. I just hit up a few of my friends, like my mom, and I was literally doing this with them. Okay, so maybe your spouse can help you do it, etc. You're gonna have to teach them a little bit about how to be a good prospect, but other than that, you can do it. You don't have to do it with the role play partners, but you do need to do it. Okay, and you need to do it 30 times. It might seem like a lot, but to be honest, if you do 5 a day, which again at 15 minutes, 5 a day would be an hour and a half a day. 5 days a week, you're gonna be at 25. 6 days a week, you'd be at 30, right? So you can knock this out in a week, even though it seems like a lot, and you're gonna get this down so quickly, okay? Easiest way to do this is do it via Zoom, and then record it, okay? Record it to the cloud on Zoom. If you do not record, or even if you just download Loom and then you just press Loom screen recording and then you just tab over so your screen is on the Zoom screen, that'll even work. Like you could do it that way. There's no excuse not to record it. So record it through Zoom or record it through Loom, and then basically bring these to the group calls and get them reviewed, or bring them to your 30-minute one-on-one with your coach and get them reviewed. Don't just like send them in Messenger like, hey, here's 10 calls, I need them reviewed. Like bring them to a call to get them reviewed, or say, hey, like when could we book a call to get these reviewed? Or what group call should I bring these to get them reviewed? Just ask your coach. And just throughout your time of doing those 30, get as much feedback as you can. Now, here's the deal. 30 is enough to get the stamp of approval. However, what we also want to do is always keep learning and always keep getting feedback. So even after you kind of move out of phase 2 or phase 3 here into phase 4, what you want to do is continue getting feedback. And then also when you start selling, you want to always bring those calls to get reviewed, ask your coaches about it, all of that stuff, okay? So a few tips. Go through my calls where I break down my calls again, right? So you can see I have in the crash course here, I have call review breakdown 1, and I also have call review breakdown setter. Go through those as many times as you can, okay? Especially if you can hear me do it and breaking down why I'm doing what I'm doing as I'm doing it. When you can do that, it's just going to tremendously help you like internalize it, right? It's one thing to like watch me go through the training. It's another thing to hear me actually do it, okay? So do that, and then right after you go through mine, go through yours, okay? Because what's gonna happen is the human brain can only understand differences and concepts by comparison. It's like a comparison machine, okay? So what we wanna do is essentially, like you only understand what night is if you know what light is, right? Or like night versus daytime, dark versus white. So again, go through mine and then go through yours, and you're gonna be able to see what the differences are. And then also go through yours a bunch, and as you're going through yours, take notes like, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done this better. Here's my tonality, I didn't realize I sounded like this, etc. Okay? So that is very key. You should listen to mine again as many times as possible. Always review yours as well. Bring them for feedback. So once you've done the 30, make sure you schedule a one-on-one call with your CSM. Your CSM will review a few more of your calls, give you any feedback on where to improve, and at this stage, you'll do one of two things. They'll either give you the stamp of approval and you get the certification, or we're going to have you continue to do role plays a little bit until you get a little bit better, okay? And then we can do a second assessment. If you need to improve, obviously just, you go through the training again, so you repeat steps 2 and 3, right? Go through the training again, go through step 3, or if you're ready and you get the stamp of approval, you move on to sourcing a contract, which is step 5, into the next video. So that's it for this video, guys. We'll see you in the next video.